the covenant and the ark and all these bizarre stories that have lasted throughout history, and the real evidence that there was really sophisticated societies that lived thousands and thousands of years ago.
Beneath layers of dust and time, a discovery has left archaeologists stunned. A mysterious object, golden, ancient, and eerily similar to the legendary Ark of the Covenant, has just been discovered in a long hidden chamber. Could it really be the sacred relic described in the Bible? Whispers of curses, divine power, and lost history now swirl around this new find. Experts are scrambling for answers, and the world is watching closely. If this is truly the Ark, it could rewrite history and shake the foundations of faith and science. What exactly have they found? Join us in this video as we reveal the findings that are putting everyone on their toes. The dig that changed everything. It started like any other quiet dig. A group of Israeli and American archaeologists was working without cameras, crowds, or fanfare. Just a dusty site tucked away in the forgotten corners of the Judean hills. No big budget, no government support, only whispers of an old manuscript that spoke of a hidden chamber buried deep beneath the ruins. Most experts shrugged it off as another dead-end story from the past. But then, something changed. A ground-penetrating radar scan picked up an odd shape about 30 feet below the surface. A huge, perfectly carved, rectangular room. It had sharp lines and symmetry too precise to be natural. The size, shape, and layout? Almost identical to what ancient scriptures described as the chamber holding the Ark of the Covenant. That's when someone in the group said it, softly, hesitantly, almost afraid to give the thought life. Could this be the Ark? They didn't dare go public. Instead, they camouflaged the dig site, keeping it secret from officials and the press. Then, they broke through. What they found beneath wasn't just old, it felt untouched by time itself. The room was sealed with massive limestone slabs. It took hours to move them, but what lay inside made seasoned researchers freeze in place. There it was, a golden chest, about 4 feet long and 2 feet high, shining like it was just made. Its lid was carved with winged figures, cherubim, just like the Bible said. No signs of damage, no signs of aging. But as one archaeologist reached toward it, everything changed. Lights went out. Every camera shut down. Digital devices died instantly. It was as if the chest had sucked the energy from the room. Some panicked. Others thought it was a strange coincidence. But when they carefully lifted the chest to look underneath, they found ancient Hebrew etched into the base. This wasn't a replica. It wasn't a hoax. It was something else. And then came the most chilling discovery. The walls of the room were stained with thick black soot, like a violent fire had once torn through it. But the golden chest? Completely untouched. No ash, no burn marks. Around it, however, lay something horrifying. Dozens of skeletons, some curled up in fear, others stretched out as if fleeing something unseen. No wounds, no weapons, just sudden, unexplained death. One archaeologist went pale. He remembered the old stories about people who touched the Ark and died instantly. Legends, they used to think, until now. The team backed away and sealed the chamber. But later, while reviewing one of the few analog tapes that somehow survived, they heard something no one remembered during the dig. A soft, rhythmic humming, like a chant, low and eerie. That sound became the center of a terrifying new theory that would shake even the most skeptical minds. So what happened when scientists tried to examine the Ark? Let's find out. The artifact that fought back. In the lab, scientists were eager to examine the artifact, but the Ark didn't cooperate. X-rays? Failed. Chemical tests? Inconclusive. Even the material itself made no sense. The golden surface had no match in any known alloy, and the wooden core underneath didn't resemble any species on Earth. It was like the Ark was made from something not of this world. Then came the strangest discovery yet. A soft but steady electromagnetic field pulsed from the chest. It wasn't random. It had a rhythm, like a slow heartbeat. At first, it seemed harmless. But within days, those who had touched the Ark began to suffer strange side effects. One by one, they reported intense dreams. Some beautiful, others terrifying. Nosebleeds followed, temporary blindness. One man collapsed mid-sentence, whispering that he could hear voices singing from inside the chest. Still, they pressed on. They didn't want to stop until the government arrived. Without warning, soldiers sealed the area. The Ark was removed under heavy guard, packed into a lead-lined container marked with only a strange black symbol. Equipment was confiscated. Satellite images were wiped. Within 24 hours, the entire team had been split up, interrogated, and forced to sign strict non-disclosure agreements. It was like the discovery had never happened. But one technician, Daniel Knox, wasn't ready to forget. Before vanishing, he posted a desperate video online. In it, he described soldiers moving the Ark and a ship prepared to sail with the crate. The next day, Daniel's video disappeared. His phone went dark, and he was gone. However, Daniel had sent something before he vanished, an old manuscript, copied from a scroll found near the Ark. He gave it to a trusted friend in Jerusalem. What that manuscript revealed changed everything. It spoke of a second hiding place. Beneath the mountain where two temples had once stood, the Temple Mount, a place so sacred and politically sensitive, even thinking about a dig there was dangerous. But the manuscript was clear. Under the cornerstone, sealed during the days of the prophet Jeremiah, there was a mirror room. A controversial professor from Tel Aviv, often dismissed as a conspiracy theorist, had spoken of this hidden chamber for years. No one listened, until now. With the help of hidden scanning tools smuggled in piece by piece, a small team surveyed the ground beneath the Temple Mount. What they discovered made even the most skeptical scientists pause. Beneath the layers of stone and time was something else. A zone of strange, focused magnetic radiation, totally unnatural. It matched the exact location described in the ancient text, and it was pulsing just like the Ark. They had only scratched the surface, but whatever was buried beneath that sacred mountain had been waiting to be found. So what else did they uncover that was never meant to be found? Stay tuned to find out. A forgotten map, a blurry photo, and a chilling warning. For years, a certain artifact in an Israeli museum was dismissed as nothing more than decorative. A gold-plated plate etched with strange symbols, listed without much fanfare as a ritual object. But everything changed when a determined researcher cross-referenced those symbols with an ancient manuscript. What he found was stunning. The plate wasn't just decoration, it was a map. The symbols formed a star with a winding path through it. When overlaid with an old Crusader-era map of the Temple Mount, the winding path matched a series of sealed tunnels, mostly forgotten by time. These weren't random markings. They were a coded route, leading to something hidden deep beneath one of the most sacred places on Earth. This revelation echoed legends long held by Ethiopian priests, who claimed that centuries ago, the Ark of the Covenant was moved by ship to Aksum, Ethiopia. There, it was said to be kept in a small, guarded chapel, protected by a single monk who could never leave. Most historians scoffed at the idea, until records from a secret Allied mission in the 1940s resurfaced. The mission's goal? Recover culturally significant artifacts from across the Middle East. Declassified decades later, the mission's documents mentioned an unregistered container uncovered at an excavation site in Egypt. It wasn't in any museum inventory, but one name appeared again and again: Dr. Emery Foster, an elusive archaeologist believed to have inspired the fictional Indiana Jones. His final report described something extraordinary: a glowing golden object that should not be moved. Then silence. The report ends abruptly, the last page torn out, the location classified. Nothing more was heard of it, until a retired American intelligence agent mailed a package to a Jerusalem journalist named David Lewin. Inside was a blurry Polaroid of a golden chest surrounded by people in protective suits. On the back, Sinai, 1968. Also included was a map with circled areas, one of them overlapping with a modern radar scan taken just months ago. Lewin followed the trail through old Crusader maps, former Vatican archivists, and even ex-employees at Masada. The deeper he dug, the stranger the story became. According to a letter inside the package, the Ark had been moved 3 times since World War II, and somehow it had recently returned to its original chamber under the Temple Mount. No one knew why. The letter ended with a warning. They are preparing. Something is coming. Soon after, Lewin received a small box on his doorstep. No return address. Inside were silver shekels from the Second Temple period, but unlike others in museums, these were untouched, pristine, as if they had never seen the light of day. Whatever lies beneath Jerusalem may be older, stranger, and far more dangerous than we ever imagined. But before this present discovery, an Adventist adventurer had claimed to have found the Ark of the Covenant. Did he really find it? Keep watching to find out. Ron Wyatt's controversial discovery. For centuries, believers across the world have wondered, where is the Ark of the Covenant now? Said to hold the original 10 Commandments, the very stone tablets given to Moses, the Ark is described in the Bible as a gold-covered wooden chest. But one of the most persistent and controversial stories comes from a man named Ron Wyatt. On January 6, 1982, Wyatt, an amateur archaeologist and Adventist explorer, announced something incredible. He said he had found the Ark. Not just rumors or traces, but the actual chest itself, buried beneath the old city of Jerusalem. And not just anywhere. According to Wyatt, the Ark had been hidden in a chamber directly beneath the place where Jesus of Nazareth was crucified. He claimed this was no coincidence, that the Ark's placement had been foretold by ancient prophecy. Historically, the Ark was kept in the First Temple, often called Solomon's Temple. But in 586 BCE, the Babylonians invaded. Led by King Nebuchadnezzar, they destroyed the temple and most of Jerusalem. After that, the Ark simply vanished from the pages of history. Wyatt believed the chaos of the Babylonian siege was the key. As the invaders surrounded the city with massive walls, the Israelites dug secret tunnels to move undetected. Many of those tunnels still exist today. Over time, archaeologists have found pieces of pottery, tools, and sacred objects inside them. But Wyatt claimed something even greater. He said that during the siege, the Israelites hid the Ark in one of those tunnels, deep inside a chamber that was sealed off and forgotten. And he believed he had located it. Of course, not everyone agreed. Many experts dismissed Wyatt's story, calling it impossible to prove. Yet others, including religious groups, took his claims seriously, especially when combined with clues from old manuscripts, strange radar findings, and the idea that the Ark had been placed beneath a hill called Golgotha, the site many believe was the place of the crucifixion. If Wyatt was right, then the Ark had been quietly resting beneath one of the holiest cities in the world, hidden in plain sight for over 2,000 years. And now, with new scans and a mysterious magnetic field detected nearby, some are starting to wonder if Wyatt's claim was more than just a story. Could an outlawed explorer have uncovered what prophets only foresaw? Keep watching to find out. A prophecy hidden in stone. Long before Ron Wyatt ever stepped foot in Jerusalem, a prophecy had been spoken, one that some believe foretold his discovery. In 1901, a woman named Ellen G. White, a respected Christian author and visionary, wrote something chillingly specific. She said that the stone tablets, inscribed by the very finger of God and given to Moses on Mount Sinai, were still resting inside the Ark of the Covenant, hidden, untouched, and waiting for a moment chosen by God. She warned that when the time was right, God would reveal them to the world not just as holy relics, but as a testimony against the world's disregard for His commandments. To many Bible students, including Ron Wyatt, this wasn't just poetic language. It was a divine clue. Wyatt believed what the book of Amos said, that God reveals his secrets through his prophets. And Ellen White's prophecy, spoken 81 years before Wyatt's claimed discovery, was too precise to ignore. During his excavation, Wyatt's first major find was a strange altar stone sticking out from the rock face. He believed it belonged to an early Christian church, maybe built in the 1st century. If that was true, it meant that the earliest followers of Jesus already knew that this site held deep spiritual meaning. Then things got even more compelling. Wyatt's team discovered 4 rectangular holes cut into the stone, just like the post holes used for Roman crucifixions. Historians know that the area where Jesus died saw many executions over time, but one of the holes stood out. It was set slightly higher than the others. This would have been the spot for the most important or condemned figure of the day. According to the Gospels, that man was Jesus. And then Wyatt found something else. A square stone had been placed in that central hole like a stopper. It had finger grips on both sides. When Wyatt pulled it out, he noticed a deep crack running through the bedrock, right beneath the place where the main cross would have stood. Wyatt immediately thought of the Gospel of Matthew, where it says that the earth shook and the rocks split when Jesus died. Could this be that crack? If so, then this wasn't just archaeology. It was prophecy unfolding before their eyes. And the Ark of the Covenant, hidden beneath it all, might have been a silent witness to both the law of God and the moment of its ultimate fulfillment. Did ancient symbols actually lead Ron Wyatt to the unthinkable? Let's find out. The moment Wyatt claimed to have found the Ark. Ron Wyatt's journey took a sharp turn when he and his team stumbled upon a hidden network of ancient caves beneath Jerusalem. He believed these tunnels were part of a forgotten system, sealed off and left untouched since biblical times. In a 1999 interview shortly before his death, Wyatt described what happened next. "Once we found that place," he said, "I knew I needed to go inside that escarpment tunnel by tunnel, chamber by chamber, until I found the Ark of the Covenant. Or didn't." And on January 6, 1982, at around 2 o'clock in the afternoon, he said he found it. But it wasn't in a grand display. Instead, it was buried in what looked like a rush of panic. The chamber was packed tightly with debris, furniture from the first temple, animal skins, wooden boards, and stone. Everything was stacked together, like someone had tried to hide it in a hurry. Wyatt believed the Ark was intentionally buried beneath these layers for protection. And there it was, the gold-covered chest, resting silently in the darkness. Then he noticed something chilling. A crack in the ceiling ran directly above the Ark. Inside it was a strange black substance. Dried blood, it seemed. Some of it had dripped onto the stone case surrounding the Ark. Wyatt's conclusion? That the crack had formed during the earthquake that followed Jesus' death. In one of his letters, he explained that when Christ was pierced by the Roman soldier's spear, the blood and water flowed down through this very crack and landed on the mercy seat of the Ark of the Covenant. For him, it was no coincidence. It echoed what Moses did in ancient times, sprinkling blood on the tablets to seal God's covenant with Israel. Now, centuries later, Wyatt believed the blood of Jesus had fulfilled that covenant once again, this time for all of humanity. But Wyatt also claimed something even stranger. Though he tried to photograph and film the Ark, none of the images turned out. He believed it was divine interference. On his return, he said he encountered 4 angels guarding the Ark. They told him the world wasn't ready to see it yet, but the day would come when a global religious law would force the truth to be revealed. Wyatt didn't stop there. He also claimed to have found Noah's Ark, anchor stones, the Tower of Babel, and even the tombs of Noah and his wife. Perhaps most controversially, he claimed to have tested the blood of Christ found in the crack and said it had just 24 chromosomes, not 46. That, he believed, proved Jesus had no earthly father. Of course, critics were quick to dismiss all of it. Scientists, historians, Even leaders in Wyatt's own church rejected his claims. But despite the backlash, many still believe in his work. His research has been preserved by Wyatt Archaeological Research, and to this day, followers continue to spread his message. What happened next revealed the Ark's true power through the ages, the Ark's sacred power through time. To the ancient Israelites, the Ark of the Covenant was more than just a wooden chest. It was the most sacred thing on earth. The Ark of the Testimony, the Ark of God, or simply the Ark, was famed for its pure gold decoration and 2 golden cherubim on its cover. And it was more than simply a symbol. It was thought to contain God's real presence. According to the Bible, the Ark held the stone tablets of the 10 Commandments, which God gave to Moses on Mount Sinai. Other texts state that it also contained Aaron's rod, which magically transformed into a snake, and a jug of manna, the bread from heaven that fed the Israelites in the desert. The Ark was built exactly according to the pattern God gave Moses. The Levites, Israel's priestly clan, carried it with long wooden poles, never touching the Ark itself. It constantly went ahead of the travelers on their trek, guiding them through the wilderness. So, what happened to it? Jewish tradition offers various choices. Some claim it was stolen and transported to Babylon. Others think it was hidden by King Josiah within the temple, or by the prophet Jeremiah in a cave on Mount Nebo. Nobody truly knows. The Ethiopian Orthodox Church believes that the Ark is safe at Aksum, guarded by a single monk who never leaves the chapel. Meanwhile, the Lemba tribe of southern Africa claim to be descendants of the ancient priests who once guarded the Ark, and they have a copy in Zimbabwe as proof. According to other legends, the Ark was transferred to Rome, Ireland, or even buried in an unknown location to prevent it from slipping into enemy hands. While no one has been able to authenticate any of these claims, the Ark's mystery continues to inspire faith, discussion, and imagination all around the world. It has appeared in everything from religious doctrines and holy scriptures to blockbuster films like Raiders of the Lost Ark, where it is portrayed as a source of power, divine judgment, and mystery. To Christians, the Ark represents Christ's function as the ultimate mercy seat. In Islam, it is stated in the Quran. Even the Baha'i faith regards it with spiritual veneration. Despite all the symbolism and hallowed history, one question remains. Where is it now? Has it truly been found? Archaeologists and Bible experts are still looking for evidence, not only to find the Ark's final resting place, but also to comprehend why its story was so important to ancient believers. Some analysts believe the design was inspired by Egyptian or Bedouin customs. Others believe the Ark's function was always spiritual, allowing mankind to feel closer to the divine. Could a glittering relic near the temple point to the Ark's trail? Keep watching to find out. Jerusalem of Gold, a new clue. Near the Ark's last known location, in the heart of ancient Jerusalem, where the Ark of the Covenant was once believed to rest, a surprising discovery has stunned archaeologists. An ancient gold ring, buried for over 2,000 years, has just been unearthed. The tiny ring, set with a red gemstone, was found at the Givati parking lot excavation site within the city of David, just steps away from the Temple Mount, where the Ark of the Covenant was reportedly kept in the Holy of Holies. The dig, led by the Israel Antiquities Authority and Tel Aviv University, revealed what some are calling one of the most impressive jewelry finds ever made in Jerusalem. At first, a soil sifter thought the ring had been dropped by a modern-day worker. But upon closer inspection, experts realized it was something far older, dating back around 2,300 years to the time of the Second Temple and the early Hellenistic period. This is the first time that such a large collection of gold jewelry from that era has been found in Jerusalem, said Efrat Bocher, the lead excavation manager. Alongside the ring were other precious items: bronze earrings, a gold bead, and even a gold earring with an animal design, objects that hint at a wealthy and vibrant city. So, what does this have to do with the Ark? This discovery was made in the very foundation layer of a grand structure near the temple. While the jewelry likely belonged to a young girl transitioning into adulthood, possibly part of a marriage tradition, the location adds another layer of meaning. Some believe this area may have once been connected to sacred rituals or high-ranking priestly families, possibly those who guarded or served near the Ark itself. Eli Escucido, director of the Israel Antiquities Authority, said it best. "This is Jerusalem of gold, in its truest, most tangible form." And while the exact link between this treasure and the Ark remains uncertain, the proximity alone has raised eyebrows. Earlier this year, another nearby find added fuel to the mystery. A religious shrine sealed by the ancestors of Jesus and preserved for nearly 3,000 years. Professor Yuval Gadot, who leads the excavation, admitted that researchers still don't fully understand the connection between this neighborhood and the ancient temple complex. But as more pieces surface from beneath the soil, the past seems to be whispering louder with every new layer uncovered. Could these discoveries be leading us closer to understanding what happened to the Ark, or who once protected it? Only time will tell. But could the Ark's meaning be deeper, hidden in an empty tomb? Let's find out. A hidden prophecy in the empty tomb? For centuries, some theologians have believed the Ark of the Covenant wasn't just a container of holy relics, but a prophetic shadow of something far greater, Jesus himself. Consider the moment Mary Magdalene discovers the empty tomb. It's still dark, just hours after the Jewish Sabbath has ended. She arrives expecting a sealed grave, blocked by a massive stone, but instead, the stone is already moved. The tomb is open, and Jesus' body is gone. Terrified, Mary runs to tell Simon Peter and John, "They've taken the Lord out of the tomb, and we don't know where they've put him," she cries. The two men sprint toward the burial site. John arrives first but hesitates at the entrance. He peers inside, just a quick glance. The Greek word used here is blepe, meaning a simple look. Then Peter, bold as always, enters the tomb. He sees the linen cloths lying there, just as Jesus had been wrapped, and the face cloth neatly folded by itself. The word used for Peter's observation is theore, a deeper investigative look, like someone analyzing a mystery. Finally, John steps in, and this time the word is eiden, to see with understanding. It suggests more than observation. It suggests revelation. Many believe this moment reveals something powerful. Just as the Ark of the Covenant carried God's presence in the Old Testament, here is the empty tomb, no less sacred. The linen cloths left behind like a cocoon, and the folded head covering separated and deliberate. It mirrors the mercy seat between the two cherubim on the Ark, where God once spoke to Moses. And just like the Ark, the real power isn't in what was found, but in what wasn't. Some scholars argue that in this moment, John may have recognized that Jesus had risen, though the Gospel notes they still didn't fully grasp the prophecy. While the disciples returned home, Mary Magdalene stayed behind, heartbroken, crying just outside the empty tomb. But then, through her tears, she bends down and looks inside again. What she sees is stunning. There, in the exact place where Jesus' body had been, sit two angels in white, one at the head and one at the feet. It's more than just a miraculous vision. It's a mirror of something ancient, something deeply sacred. Just like the Ark of the Covenant, which held the stone tablets from Moses, the tomb seems to echo its design. In Exodus, God instructed the Israelites to build the Ark with a solid gold cover, the mercy seat, and on either side of that seat, two golden cherubim faced each other, their wings stretched out, guarding the sacred space where God said, "There I will meet with you." Now, in the tomb, two angels appear, one on each end of where the body had rested, and in between them, not stone or scrolls, but a place where blood had been shed. It's a haunting parallel. In the Old Testament, the high priest would sprinkle the blood of a sacrifice between the cherubim to atone for Israel's sins. In the New Testament, Jesus' blood lay between the angels, poured out not just for one nation, but for all of humanity. Inside the original ark were 3 items: the manna from heaven, Aaron's staff that bloomed, and the stone tablets. In Jesus, each is fulfilled. He is the bread of life. He is the high priest who rose again. He is the living fulfillment of God's law. God once said, "There I will meet you between the 2 cherubim." And now, in a dark tomb just outside Jerusalem, Mary finds that sacred meeting place once again. This time, not in gold and stone, but in the risen Savior. Could it be that the ark was never just a relic? Maybe it was a prophecy, pointing to a moment where mercy and majesty would meet again, this time in the empty space between 2 angels and the place where Jesus had lain. So, what do you think about the new discovery? Compared to what others have claimed to be the Ark of the Covenant, which could be real, let us know in the comments section below. Thank you for watching this video. We hope you found it interesting. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Click the next video shown on your screen to catch up on your favorite celebrity stories. See you there.